Hello guys. Based on the attack, defense, and offensive vertical hacking assignment we have in the class, this is a walkthrough on using Nmap, which is Nmap, to scan the target for any vulnerability. As you can see, so steps: offensive operation, install, and then we run the commands, and then you're able to search and analyze the results. So identify service and potential vulnerability from the scan output. Use the information to plan further attack. Which the further attack is the video after this, which is for boot suit. So which I used the XAMPP in my own case. I didn't use boot suit. I used XAMPP walkthrough. So here's the target, and then we are going to do an intensive scan. So the target is 7C. So I'm going to click on different profile, and then we're going to see different level of scan that we can have. Some of us may know the commands. You can see intensive scan, all TCP ports, intensive scan, no pinging, ping scan, quick scan plus, quick trace route, regular scan, slow, comprehensive scan. You can see, so you can save, you can open new, you can save to all directory. Two, you can see compare results, search for scan results, profile. You can create a new profile command. If you have a new Nmap command, you can decide to create your profile. So in this case, we are using IntelScan, which is Nmap T4AV, then the IP, which is the target, and then you're going to see just a bit. This one doesn't require me visiting the website or anything. It scan the web server and look for open ports that we can use to exploit for vulnerability. Then we are going to see the host, and we are going to see port topology and the host details. So you can see a whole lot that is going on. That's scanning completed NSC at 16 elapsed, scanning. Then 4 ports open, which we have port 80 is open, port 21 is open, port 578 is open, port 443 is open, which are all on TCP. And then he completed his synchronization at this time and elapsed within 100 total ports. That was what he detected on this target, 100 ports, and he found 4 open. Sorry, not 100,000, 1,000 total ports. Sorry, and then he found 4 open, which is from these 4 we could perform any vulnerability check or any attack. So around here you can see if I scroll down, it selects only what the result I request for, and then I can use other space like ports to detect the port. So after I'm going to do a UDP scan, so that UDP scan is one that do more of ports for the host. So but for intent scan, it's just going to let me know which port is opened, and then do a comprehensive scan, and then I'm going to know the total number and total time elapsed, and the total number of scan. And you can see that the scan is still going on. It's still not done. It says scanning 4. So time about to for the scan to done. So scan timing service, you can see. So this particular intent scan is done, and we are going to do another scan. So let's do U as U intent scan all TCP ports. So let's scan for all TCP ports, and you're going to see what's going to happen here. Now, same 4 ports open. So we have one host, which I have a host for resolution. Same 4 ports. So the same 21, 58, 80, 443. So some of us know what communication this port carries. Some of them are email communication, some of them HTTP request communication. So they have different layers. So that's how you are going to know the way you are going to perform your attack. So you see that it's still running. So I just want you to see we're both still running. You can see the port is still loading. So it's going to pop up a whole lot of results. You just have to allow to give it time. So because I'm running on a start server, so it's going to pop up some results so quick and soon. You're going to be able to see the host and then navigate around the service. You know, probably before I've checked on the service and the host, and there was nothing. And so you can use your tools, you can use it to compare your results, you can set scan, you can filter host. So it's still scanning. Let's try to see, it's telling me the time that is remaining. So I'm scanning for intensive. It's still time is still remaining, and I'm scanning for um, all intense, all TCP ports. So this one is not just looking for, it's just looking for TCP ports, and then since I've seen that the ports that are open is TCP port, so I decided to now do an intensive scan on TCP port, which is going to reveal the host and then the ports, available ports, and then I'm going to see services that this port run, so that I can know the vector of attack, whether it's Metasploit, which we are going to try Metasploit, we're going to see it, or whether it's pure um, pen testing like XAMPP to attack. So it's still loading. You can see it's still. So we just have to just around 5 to 10. It's not even up to that. Sometimes within 3 to 4 minutes. It depends on how populated or how busy or how quick you can get response from the server. But this particular thread I've run Bluetooth, I've run Metasploit, and so I've gotten a lot of response, and then we also I was also going to run the the XAMPP. So let's now click on ports. Let's see if and then some of this okay, nothing on this yet. Okay, something is coming on the local host 4. So let's see, nothing on this yet. Let's hold on. We're going to see. Okay, I think something's coming up. Yes, good. Okay, right now we have our host. Something that's coming up, so it's still it's still scanning. But then I'm getting result already. So I just did intense scan or TCP. So I can try to do slow comprehensive scan. I can do quick scan. I can do trace route. Depends on the level of activity I'm performing regarding the threat. So defensive, ethical, offensive. This threat is this tool is, and some of us we once we have a Kali that has all tools, we will come across a map on this. So you see now we're going to do filter. Okay, because we have just one host. Just one. You can see the scan. So you see on saved. That's the scan for the intense is done, but the scan for the RTCP is not done. So now let's check on the service. You can see FTP service, which is port 21. You can see it's carrying. So if I want to do an attack based on FTP, I know that a port is open, and then it can allow an attack for FTP. Now you see HTTP, see port 80 and 443. You can see the submission, which is 587. So I know that I can use an email entry, I can use an HTTP entry and an FTP entry for. So that's it. You can see it's all at. I'm giving it time. The more time it's having while it's still running, it's fetch more results and analyze all this based on the target. So it brings out everything that has to do from the target based on the IP, the ports open. So this gives us the detail. You can see the detail from the host. So they have 4 ports open. So filtered port, you can see 996. Some ports here that is even listed there is listed from the host, which is the port. You can see an IP. You can see the TCP is saying good luck. So the index is so IP ID sequence, TCP TS sequence. Tab, no value, all zeros, TCP TS sequence. It has some values. So I can select, depends, you see. Then comment. So you just have to study this tool when you're using it for a target, and make sure that the target is a pen testing allowed target that's allowing you to use its IP or its infrastructure as a target to pen test for vulnerability, weakness, and to analyze open ports and networks or methods that attackers could use to get into the server. So we can cancel the scan since, and then we can save. You can save all scan to directory, and then you can just save, and you can see, and then I give it a name, and you just type in the name. So it's usually used to be an XML file. It used to be XML.xml. So I give it omni.xml. So that's how it's going to save it as XML file. So if you go and click it, the XML file, it's going to load on your browser, and you're going to see the analysis of everything that went on the target. So thank you very much. Okay, so we're starting the Nmap and Zap. We want to use it to check and test the vulnerability of the web applications, so which is the OmniAuth that we have been using as a target for our pen testing class. So now we're launching the WhatsApp Zap. So it takes just a few minutes and it all set. Then this is just I believe that we would have done our information gathering first on the with the NZAP, sorry, Nmap to down. So this is to try to gain access to the web app and then exploit any known vulnerability. And then if I'm coming in as a defender, then I'm going to know known vulnerabilities and method of exploiting, and then give preventive measures on how to prevent attackers from gaining unauthorized access. So some of you, through your attacker means, you've been able to actually get that, okay, some of the vulnerabilities on this web app is metadata miscompression due to the business. So now the Zap has started. You can see I want to click on the site. Then because yesterday I was supposed to do the video, I had a lot, so I did a scan on my own. So that's the result. But now let's browse the site, our target on the browser. But then I've already configured the browser to communicate with the Zap, which you normally go to your settings from these your three icons on your Firefox, and then scroll down on general settings. You see network settings. Here's network settings, and then you can see I already configured to localhost port 8080. Now to configure, I import my certificate from WhatsApp, which I'm still going to show you how to get certificate on WhatsApp. So here you come down, scroll down on privacy and security. You scroll down to security. Then you see certificate, and you click manage certificate. You can see I've already have a whole lot of certificates here. So let me scroll down so that you can see that I have imported the Zap CA, that's a certificate for you to trust any website I browse on this browser, so that it's not going to bring the unsecured error warning message. So you can see once I click on the host, sorry, the target. So let's just use the page URL. Okay, you can see it has load. So now let's move to our Zap. You can see the traffic incoming and outgoing from my browser to the web server. So now let's you can see the sites now. Some other site has loaded with, so we're going to select our target, which is Omni, and then, on this side you can see site. So this is for the site, and then on this downside you see the incoming and outgoing of traffic that is going out and in from the target. So you can see a pinching detector. So that's what I'm saying. I'll trying something, but then I don't know, the video was not recording, and I was doing a walkthrough. I was in a haste, so I didn't know the video wasn't recording. Not until I was done, I felt like, so that's what I tried. So I did this normal scan through to check for vulnerability. You can see the site. So that's our target. So you right click and click attack. So that it's going to help us scan and then communicate only with the Omni. Good. Then active scan. Yeah, I can do spider, I can do a whole lot of things. I can attack the web server directly if I've known vulnerability with the Zapsos, the pen testing tools. So you can see the target. So just say scan, and you see a new fresh scanning is just going within the OmniAuth server. See, so let's wait. You see that. So you check all those. You see that it's connected, and then current scans. So let's navigate more on the website. Let's go to login page so that it will communicate more. So let's check this app, and then you'll see some more things are going to load, as you can see even on the site, as it's detecting more site files, site folder is going to show you here, and I'm going to have access to see while it's still loading. And meanwhile, it's already communicating with the WhatsApp app. So it's meant to intercept the communication between my browser and the web server, which is where the website I'm visiting, and then give me an analysis, a result here for me to be able to now decide if I want to be an attack or I want to be defensive. On my own side, I'm playing defense, so it's to be defensive. So when I check known vulnerabilities, so you check alert, you can see there's alert on some different vulnerability that they found on the website that I scanned. You see information disclosure. Look at, so that's the header text. You can do a whole lot of our attack with the header. We can modify header text. You can do a whole lot there. You can see the information it's giving us. So the confidence, it said is low. So we are going to check some of them and see their level of risk. You can see the risk of this one is medium. The confidence is high. I see the one for the pinching attack. So I used Metasploit, which is what I was running some commands with Metasploit yesterday. I was trying to use the metadata vulnerability that I found while I was scanning, and to exploit and inject something so that to give me access, to be able to um, um, have a level of access to the server. So that's it. You can see starting the reversal TCP island, and it says the target is not vulnerable. So that is because the method I used to exploit it is not vulnerable on the server. I tried to use SMB for the Windows. So I believe that this server is hosted on the Windows server. I'm using an SMB port, and so if it is not, otherwise it's not going to go. So tools, then you go to options. So for us to set our certificate to be able to communicate with the browser that every site you are visiting is trusted. So you go to your options. Under your option, you can first scroll down, and scroll to see different options that you can explore. So you can see role configuration, you can configure it, you can see scripts, you see your console engine, you can see passive scan rules, you can define it, you can edit and configure this according to your level of understanding based on what you want to set this to. But here you can see some other list: scan, force browser, HTTP section. So where we are coming is network. So I'm just showing you around, so you get to see some other things, WebSockets, you can see some other things that you can set. It depends on your level of knowledge and understanding. For extension, you can see. So now let's go to applications. You see. So if you click on option, it's collapse everything. So everything's being up now. Back to our network. Now straight to server certificate, which is where we want to do. We want to save our certificate. So if that you don't want to do so, you can generate a new one. You can import. You can view. And then this time I want to save. I already saved before, so you can see it says So no, because I already said before. So cancel and then okay. So with this, my browser could communicate with what I just showed you earlier, and then you just go to and then import. And so you can navigate, browse, try keys, do different things on the website while they communicate with the Bluetooth to check for vulnerabilities, known portals. And we can check report. Let's generate report for it to analyze our scan on this web. These are intent on this walkthrough, just to scan for vulnerability and detect known vulnerability for proper action for defensive. And if you're an attacker, for attacker based on the assignment or walkthrough that we're having in class. Generate report, you can see. So I can decide to just select my target and then generate report, but this time around I just want to generate report on every site that's load while I'm trying to access the target. So I just want to copy this to you can see alert. So my risk is high level. Let's check the one that we have high level confidence load. You can see the get the meta data. So the cloud metadata attacks attempt to abuse a misconfigured NGX server in order to access the instance metadata maintained by a cloud service provider such as AWS, GCP, and Azure. All of these providers provide metadata via an internal unroutable IP address. This can be exposed by incorrect configured NGX server and accessed by using this IP in the host header field. Based on successful response, status code cloud metadata may have been returned in the response. Check the response data to see if any cloud data has been responded. So this is giving us a breakdown analysis on our findings, and then okay, you can see the request line and then header section. So based on our successful, we already said that, and then metadata return. So the request, you can see http slash metadata http1, the host, you can see the user agent. So one can use this okay, now we can check our cloud metadata expose. You can see get. So let's do our fuse. Let's fuse it. You just click on fuse and you can select the omni and so here I'm going to add my string, a fusing string. So I'm just going to use the same header as the string. So I can equally add a string, depends on my intent, but because I'm checking for vulnerability and I want to use this, I just copy, let's just copy the request line and header section. You can see let's test. So you can even include in get a payload, right? You can fuse the payload, and this I just tried to use a string, and you can see all the fuse and byte and uses payloads. You can see. Oh, that is how we run a basic scan to check if a web application is vulnerable, either super secured, or there are some loopholes, or there are some areas that we can exploit it. So have this now, you can decide to run some meta exploit commands, which we use exploits. Then windows, since I'm saying look, you should exploit a window, I have decided it is not, and the IP address may not be hosted on a Windows, but in some rare cases, you find that it's hosted on a Windows. Most of them may be a virtual machine on a different cloud OS. So if you're able to now define exploits, DOS. So on this side, this case, I said Windows SMB and then MS101 and okay. So I'm supposed to add Zelda.executable external blue. So I'm just going to copy. So let's set my host to the target IP. Because if you want your exploit to work, you have to be in the same network with your target. So if your network is not inside the target, you won't be able to know. So my host is now let's exploit. So if there's any known vulnerability on this, so it's scanning SMB, MS, and as checked. So if it knows any vulnerability here and is able to enter here, it's going to inject my payload. Okay, so it has scanned. So connection timeout with this and then scanned 101 host complete. The target is now vulnerable. So there are different methods of performing or doing this, but this is just to show a walkthrough on how to use this Metasploit, Zap, and some other tools. So I'm still going to, after this, I'm still going to do a run through for Nmap to scanning just the target IP and then so that we also see what Nmap gives us in terms of the vulnerability analysis, and then we can still use that findings to better perform our exploit or attack on dependency to the Zap. Okay, so you can use different methods. You can use spider, so you can see. So I just use any string. That doesn't make sense though. I just typed. So you should not do that and don't feel. So I just typed. You can see. So it's getting. You can see there is a local host 301 that is open. You can see get only server seed scope. So I can use different methods. I can try to exploit on different levels with this. So, but one thing you have to know is that you have to have authority to pen test a server. So if you now detect, okay, a pothole, and then you're able to exploit the vulnerability. Now, as a defender, you are to write to the companies or providers security channel explaining your findings and then possible mitigation around it so that they can block the potholes. It's not that you should not exploit the vulnerability and then leak out the no. It is confidential and it is illegal to do that without the consent of it. So this web app is built by me. So I decided to just use it for our pen testing class to test for vulnerability around. So if we detect any pothole around, it's not that we should not exploit it. We should report it to the service provider or to me who owns the web application. So that's the run through around this, and then we can you can see on the upper side you see HTML. So you click spider. Hold on. So sitemap. So it gives us all the thing that's requesting a method get from the web app, and there's nothing on output. Alert, you can see a whole lot on alert. So you can see this expose the level is high. You can see other internal link that I'm having access to that I can just route to those links and I see what is there. I see the different message, okay, not okay, the amount of bytes. So you see that we can inject anything here from our header to the body. So let's open this for you to scroll down to see the different on the right click. anything can happen from here. Since I have already known that I can inject something to the metadata and I'll be able to govern it. So as for the defender, I'm going to create something that is going to defend the metadata from leaking out, either just block an access for you not to get the host IP or be able to even inject or send something without unauthorized access to the server. You can see from the, okay, so if I try the attack on the sniff on the aptitude scan, on the pinching detection sniff that I went through, you can see the same thing, pinching detection, you can see. So I can trace this and to know where the attack come from. This is a real world attack, and then the attack came from somewhere, and I did a scan, and this is my web app, and I noticed the pinching detection, so I can pick the IP from and then still perform any intent to the attacker to be able to know his intention. You can see the whole lot can be done around here. So this is just a basic walkthrough for us to understand how this is done, and you can see that it was able to generate a result, and we're able to view the report and we're able to scan through the site. Thank you very much. All right. On this note, we have checked through the Nmap tool, the ZAP, and Metaxploit to use to perform an attack, defensive, and ethical operation. So for the attack operation, you can see that it's not successful because it wasn't able to find vulnerability. So with that, um, if it's an intense attacker, it's going to look for means to attack more. If it's a defender, it's going to look for how to defend such meta exploit or such exploits from being manipulated or used. So you can see for we use that to do the analyze to run the Nmap to analyze and run the scan, and then we use the XAMPP to also capture the data, then Metasploit to launch the attack, which you can see that I used the what's the name, the command, and then exploit it, and it wasn't successful. So based on what happened on the vulnerability, you can see the vulnerability reported here indicates a potential exposure of cloud metadata. If most of you followed me through the ZAP and the Metasploit, you will notice that okay, I tried to exploit a metadata and then to misconfigured server. Specifically, the alert refers to the possibility of accessing instance metadata by manipulating the host header in an HTTP request, which could allow attacker to retrieve sensitive information from cloud services like so AWS, CGP, and Azure. Now here is how you can potentially exploit and mitigate these vulnerabilities. So exploitation overview, understand the vulnerability, which the vulnerability is related to the cloud metadata service accessible via the IP address. This address is used internally by cloud service provider to provide metadata about the instance. So if a server like Nginx is misconfigured to forward requests with an arbitrary host header to the metadata service. Now you can see we craft a request and then we use the WhatsApp app to modify an header request which access to metadata. So if this was successful, then you can see that the mitigation. So it's properly configure injects and avoid using NGOs for variable to for in configuration that determine back-end routing instead of use a static configuration or validate header. So you have validation and sanitize input. So also restrict access to metadata and then use web application firewalls. So for it, so here is the ethical consideration. Exploring such vulnerability should always be done with permission in a controlled environment, such as penetration testing engagement where you have explicit authorization. Unauthorized testing or exploration is illegal and unethical. So additional step for responsible disclosure. If you discover this in a real-time application, consider following the responsible disclosure steps. So document your vulnerability, report it to the vendor, and then provide recommendations. So if you carry out these three measures, document whatever you have noticed based on all the findings, based on the tools we have used, and then you should report to either me as because why we use OmniAuth is because OmniAuth is a web application made by me. So the service provider, you can contact them and then contact me, and then so that's it around for the whole walkthrough. So thank you guys, and hope you enjoyed.